Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Master Duel video for you, coming at you with Elfnote White Forest. Finally branching out into some of the Elfnote variants. You can combine it with actually quite a few different synchro decks, and definitely wanted to give Elfnote White Forest a try. Now, this is going to be in Dice Rally. Obviously, that's why I've got the Chaos Trap Hole in hand, and my opponent starting with this random vanilla monster here. So I could have begun my combo line with the LZ, sending away the Chaos Trap Hole, but this is not a bad counter trap to have in a lot of scenarios, so I decided to hang on to it as well as my field spell, Witch of the White Forest, and I'm going to demonstrate a combo line with Sylvie. Not the whole combo line, my opponent will concede a bit early, but if you want to see the whole combo line, I definitely recommend checking out Moha's guide to Elfnote White Forest, which is what I used as my basis for my combos and build. I'm going to link that in the description down below, but I'll show you how White Forest can pivot into an Elfnote combo line. We're going to begin with Sylvie for the Tales of the White Forest, and then we're just going to straight up add LZ Azamina of the White Forest and synchro summon into Silvera. Now, this might look a little bit weird to summon Silvera during turn 1 and not the Racila, right? Which is the other level 6 you would expect to see here. But again, I don't really want to give up either of these spell or trap cards, and we're going to put this monster back into the extra deck anyway, so it really does not matter which one you summon here. Alright, LZ Azamina gets to activate, and I can even chain block with the Silvera, because they do have a face-up monster that I can turn face down. We're going to add Deception of the Sinful Spoils, which will then activate. Now, Deception will get to send away the Silvera to add the Hallowed Azamina. We're going to activate the Hallowed Azamina in order to send away the Deception and then summon the Azamina Mu Rishialago. Alright, Mu Rishialago gets to activate. We're going to add Wanted from deck to hand, and then we can activate the Hallowed Azamina to put back LZ Azamina and return it to our hand as well. We're going to activate Hallowed Azamina as Chainlink 1, and then chain Wanted to it as Chainlink 2. That way we can not only still use Wanted to add Diabell Star, but of course now we also get to use Hallowed Azamina, sending away the Wanted, in order to summon out Ilias Sylvia, which acts as an Omni Negate and can chain block, or not chain block, but rather just kind of protect us from hand traps for the rest of the combo line. We get to get a free draw out of Wanted. It's an extra Sylvie, so I'm going to bin that for the Diabell Star. Diabell Star is going to set Original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye, which can then activate triggering the Diabell Star, or rather sending it, in order to summon out a level 1 fire monster from our deck. And guess what Elfnote Power Patron is? That's right, a level 1 fire monster. So now we can tune the Elfnote Power Patron to the Azamina Mu Rishialago, and that lets us go into the Elfnote Seraphim Strelitzia. And then we can use Elfnote Power Patron's effect in order to add Elfnote Lucinia from deck to hand. Lucina's effect is going to activate here, and we're going to add Tinia. And that's because we're going to use Sylvie to put back the Silvera, summon, and then we can tune with the Lucina in order to make a level 10 synchro. Now here, because I'm in the Dice Rally event, that's why I'm making the Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Shenging here. Obviously, if you're on regular ranked ladder, you would just make the Baron de Fleur. But otherwise, this combo line is exactly the same in the Dice Rally as it is on ranked ladder. So now we can summon Tinia, we're going to activate that, and here is where our opponent's going to concede. So again, a little bit of an early concede into our turn 1 combo, but you can see how the combo line progresses from the White Forest stuff over to the Elfnote stuff. How I would have picked up the line from here is Tinia, place Welcome Home to send Tinia in order to summon Regina from deck into the center main monster zone. Regina could have summoned Fortuna. Fortuna would have placed the continuous trap card. And I mean, from there, that's already like pretty much your whole board setup. But of course, you still have your revive off both the trap card and the Seraphim to continue synchro summoning. You could revive the Elfnote Power Patron and make the Crystal Wing, as well as reviving the Tinia, so that way you could swap into the center main zone during your opponent's draw phase and then rip a card out of their hand too. So again, if you want to see the full combo line as well as more combo lines for turn 1, check out Moha's guide linked down below, but that is still the gist of it. And as you can see, even in Dice Rally, we can still do full power Elfnote White Forest combo. But let me show you some more back and forth gameplay now. So for this game, we're going to be up against Magnet Warrior, which is actually fairly strong in the event here. Alright, I believe we're going to be going first. Yep, so let's see exactly how we do here. Alright, so this hand's a little bit awkward, right? Because it doesn't have any of our, like, traditional starters, like Witch of the White Forest, or Sylvie, or Lucina, or Tinia, but we can actually still go full combo with a hand like this. Excuse me. We're going to go draw phase wanted, of course, to play around Droll, but they are going to throw out a ghost spell. A little bit unfortunate. Maybe because I had triple attack, I should have considered using it during the main phase, but again, I really wanted to play around Droll more than anything else. Triple attack wouldn't really do a lot, or rather, we still wouldn't be able to do as much into Droll even if we resolved triple attack. So, gonna send Curse of the Diabell to summon Diabell's the White Witch. Get to add the Philia Diabell here. Philia Diabell is going to activate. We can add the Diabell Star of Vengeance. And for this kind of hand, that's going to be all the White Forest stuff I really get to do here. But we can definitely still make Elfnote combo lines here. We're going to draw off the Wanted by putting back the, what do you call it? The Sinful Spoils of the White Forest. We sent that earlier with the Diabells. But yeah, we can normal summon the Elfnote Power Patron, right? And we don't play any level 9 Synchros. However, we can use the effect to buff the level of Elfnote Power Patron in the center zone up to 4. And then we're going to go 4 plus 8 into the Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon, which not only obviously let us Synchro summon away the Elfnote Power Patron, but will still be able to act as disruption on the opponent's turn. So that's very nice. Elfnote Power Patron, because it was used as Synchro material, can add the Lucina, and now we can activate, after summoning Lucina to the center main monster zone, we can activate to get Regina. We'll send away Lucina to summon Regina, pull out Tinia from the deck. Tinia is going to place the Welcome Home. Welcome Home gets to activate, sending away the Tinia for Fortuna. Now Fortuna is going to activate, placing the Rhapsidia. Rhapsidia will send away Fortuna in order to revive Elfnote Power Patron. And now I can tune it with the Regina. Definitely don't want the Regina to get sent away by one of our spell or trap cards. We want it to be Synchro summoned. That way we can return it to our hand. I'm also placing Seraphim in the middle here. That way I can revive Tinia and then swap it into the middle zone during the opponent's draw phase. So yeah, I mean, again, if you look at our opening hand, right, you see like Diabells and Elfnote Power Patron and Curse of the Diabell, and you expect a hand like that to be really bricky, but I mean, obviously we're still able to put out pretty much our full end board here, even with such a bricky looking hand, and also our opponent having a hand trap for our Wanted here as well. It's too bad. If we had been able to resolve that Wanted, we could have had what do you call it, Ilia Sylvia here as well. Unfortunately for me, they do have a Super Poly in response to the Tinia effect, so they can fuse away the Seraphim that's in the center main monster zone, and now because Tinia has something to swap with, I can't put her there, and therefore cannot banish a card from hand. I am going to activate Elfnote Regina here. They're going to try to use Mud Dragon to target protect their board full of Earth monsters. However, the really nice thing about Elfnote is that a lot of these disruption effects don't target. Lucina's effect to return a monster from the field to the hand does not target, and Rhapsidia's effect also does not target to negate a card. So they're going to normal summon the Electromagnet Beta here. I'm going to use Rhapsidia, send away Regina to actually revive the Seraphim Strelitzia here. This will let me get not only another revive, but also I can potentially mess with my opponent's levels. Alright, so they're going to end up summoning the Researcher next, but I'm going to activate Lucina. They're going to chain Magnet Bonding, which is totally fine with me. Now Lucina, here in a moment, is going to get to swap to the center main monster zone. And of course, I'm going to put back the Adamantipator Researcher so they can't Excavate or Synchro Summon. They do get to summon out the Conduction Warrior Linear Magnum plus minus, but as I go to try to use the Sigma plus effect, we are going to hit them with the Ghost Bell. So they are not able to revive their Epsilon and continue comboing. What they are going to do, however, is link away Mud Dragon plus Electromagnet Beta into Asa the Earth Charmer Immovable. Now here I did still have access to the Seraphim effect, but I'll be totally honest with you, I was watching YouTube as I was playing, got a little bit distracted, totally didn't notice them reviving my Ghost Spell, which I was like, I didn't notice until too late, and I was like, oh yeah, 3 plus 7, they can make a 10. Again, thankfully, Baron de Fleur is banned. However, I will say this much, even if they had made a Baron here, we still have both the Seraphim and the Diabell Star Vengeance effects, and I would have probably tried to use the Seraphim effects, activating that during the end of main to bait out a Baron negate, and then once Baron commits to negating, then I could have used Diabell Star Vengeance to try to pop it. That was really probably the best way for me to try to out a Baron here. In a lot of ways, the Shengyang is actually kind of worse, because I can't destroy it at all with the Diabell Star Vengeance, right? But they're going to battle over the Lucina in the center zone before passing back over to me. You know, it's funny, I was thinking about using Diabell Star Vengeance to pop the Asa, and then I was like, wait, no, I shouldn't do that until later into my turn, because they're just going to search Maxi. And then I didn't remember until I started comboing that, oh yeah, this is the Dice Rally event. Maxi is banned. So, It doesn't really matter what they grab with Asa here. It's going to be another Electromagnet Beta. Really what I'm going to do is tune the LZ Azumina with the Diabell Star of Vengeance to make the Chaos Angel, making it with a white and a dark. But more importantly, now I can banish the Shengang without being able to, or without them being able to proc its effect, which only activates when a card is destroyed, or when it would be destroyed. Then it banishes a card to protect itself. If I didn't have access to Chaos Angel, I also could have used Rhapsidia to negate and then tried to destroy it with a card effect, but it don't matter, because we can just swing in for lethal no matter what here. Alright. Yeah, very good example of a game where even though we had kind of a wonky opening hand, and we also got hit with a hand trap on the Wanted, we were still able to completely just pop off on our opponent and defeat them as a result. So let me show you some more gameplay here. Okay, this is going to be another brief kind of one-turn replay, but it's against Jurrac Fire King, who's actually going to do some turn 0 stuff against us here. So we will get to see quite a bit of back and forth, again, even though it's only a one-turn replay. Now, this hand was really interesting, right? Because we've got a bunch of spell cards that want us to send a monster to the graveyard, but no actual monsters. But that's actually fine here, because I have the Hallowed Azumina alongside Deception anyway, and even if I didn't open Hallowed Azumina, and also I'm just assuming we would be on ranked ladder and wouldn't have a Royal 5-headed Dragon on our field, we still have 1-for-1, which could have, or geez, 1-for-1, original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye, which could have sent away the Deception on our field. But here I'm just going to use Deception and then activate to send away this 5-headed dragon in order to add LZ Azumina, because we already have Hallowed Azumina. I'm going to activate Hallowed Azumina, but they're going to chain Dominus Impulse. So, unfortunately, we do not get to summon the Murashilago here. I'm going to summon LZ Azumina. They're going to chain their Kirin, popping the Jurrac Megalo. Now here, funnily enough, this means I get to actually proc the effect of Deception to make them lose 1500 and me gain 1500, but more importantly, they get to not only use the effect of Jurrac Megalo, but also their Sacred Fire King Garunix. For those unaware, Jurrac Megalo is going to set up the Jurrac, what is it called? Actually, I forgot. Astero, right, in the graveyard, which will let them set up the Meteor on my turn. So, basically, as of right now, my opponent has a graveyard effect that will let them summon a monster from their extra deck that will destroy every other card on the field. So I definitely have to be mindful of that as I continue to play on my turn 1. I'm going to use the Hallowed Azumina, putting back LZ in order to, re-add itself. And then I'm going to go Hallowed Azumina, send Deception for Murashilago. Now you might be wondering why I didn't just go for the Ilia Sylvia. And the reason for that is because if I went for Ilia Sylvia, I wouldn't really have a way to advance my board state. Like, I'd have to activate Welcome Home and send away Ilia Sylvia to do Elfnote stuff. I could activate Welcome Home and send that for OSS, but Elfnote Power Patron doesn't do anything by itself. I would have to tune it with Ilia Sylvia. So, unfortunately, the negate actually doesn't really help me here. So we're going to get Murashilago instead, and then I'm going to activate OSS to send it away for Elfnote Power Patron. Right now, I'm really just trying to get my opponent to use this Jurrac Meteor already. So, we're going to Wanted for Diabell Star, and then we're going to use the Wanted to draw an extra card. And here, with the Droll and Lockbird, I saw my opportunity to finally try to bait out this Meteor. We're going to go Deception, set Sinful Spoils, and here they're going to use the Astero effect, probably believing that I'm out of stuff to do. But if they didn't use Jurrac Meteor here, then I could use Elfnote Power Patron to bump up the level of Diabell Star to, math. Oh, no, it's not an 8, it's a 7. I was going to say I could have made Snake the Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon, but no, that would only make level 11. Oh, but I could still have made Diabell here. Yeah. So I still have the option to tune away the Elfnote Power Patron. Either way, though, they're going to Jurrac Meteor here and blow up the board, milling a Misk along the way, but here we can just normal summon the Droll and Lockbird. Misk, by the way, is the shorthand for Miscellaneousaurus. But anyway, I'm just going to normal summon Droll and Lockbird, activate Elfnote Welcome Home, summon Lucina from deck. Lucina can add Regina. We're then going to activate Regina, send away Welcome Home to summon Regina in the center zone. Regina can then activate summoning out Fortuna. Fortuna is going to activate, placing Rhapsidia. Rhapsidia sends away the Fortuna for Elfnote Power Patron, and then we can make the Seraphim in the center zone. And let's see here. I think they're about to concede. Yep. So that would have triggered the effects of both Elfnote Power Patron and Regina. And in particular, I could have used the, I could have used the Regina that I added back during my opponent's draw phase to summon her to the center main monster zone, pulling out Tinia from deck, and then I could have used Tinia to hand rip. So I think Seraphim actually shouldn't have been in the center there. I'm thinking, I guess I could have synchroned it away for Crystal Wing, but that would have probably cost me the rest of my board. I mean, either way, whatever. My opponent's totally out of cards in hand or field. If I can just hand rip with Tinia, then obviously we're all set from there. So, yeah, like I said, even though it was only one turn, it was still a pretty decently back and forth game. Now that I've shown you the games, let me show you the deck list here, and then we'll finish off. Okay, so here is my list for Elfnote White Forest, which I think, obviously, aside from some minor modifications made because it is an event deck, I'm pretty sure this is like card for card, just the same list that Moha was using. Again, I'm gonna link Moha's combo guide down in the description below. But yeah, the event has restrictions like limits on Regina and Diabellstar and LZ, but those actually don't matter because Moha was only playing one copy of each of these anyway. Also, Deception limit literally, like, never matters, right? Because you only ever play one of this anyway. So, yeah, even though there are some event restrictions imposed here, again, they actually don't end up affecting the build whatsoever. Again, the main things that are affected here are the lack of Maxi, Call By, and Crossout Designator. But we've simply subbed in Perulia for Maxi and a couple copies of Triple Tack for the Call By and Crossout. All in all, I think this variant has a lot to offer. It's really, really cool how you can use one, or I keep calling it one for one, the original Sinful Spoils in order to pivot from White Forest into Elfnote. I don't think there's really a way to pivot from Elfnote into White Forest, unfortunately, but it's still nice that you can go at least one way there. Yeah, as mentioned, Elfnote has quite a few different variants it can play in combination with a few different synchro decks. I know that people I've seen a comment requesting Cool Tune Elfnote, and yeah, I'd like to look into that at some point in the future and try that out as well. But yeah, for the time being, I've had a ton of fun with this list. Oh, this whole time I've been trying to remember one other change I had to make. Yeah, it's in the extra deck. I'm playing Typhone instead of Little Knight, because Little Knight's banned in the event. That's the only other swap I think I would make from Ranked Ladder to this. But obviously you could include on Ranked Ladder more copies of not only Lucina, but Regina, or potentially even Diabellstar. But I think a Type 40 is really ideal, especially for a deck like this, because this is really one of those decks, really any deck that plays multiple engines in it, wants to ideally, in most cases at least, be 40 cards, right? Because even if one of your engines can pivot into the other, you still really benefit from opening starters from each engine, right? Like if you open Sylvie, you can still go into Elfnote plays, but if you open Sylvie plus Lucina, then you can do full combo almost no matter what kind of hand trap your opponent has. But that's why I think that playing closer to 40 cards for a deck like this tends to be a little bit better. But there are some options if you want to go a little bit over as well. Either way, I think this deck is a lot of fun, and like I said before, I'm definitely going to try out more Elfnote variants in the future. Elfnote Synchron, especially once Synchron gets some of its follow-up support from the Overframe collection, is one that I'm pretty eager to try as well. But for the time being, we're going to go ahead and sign out. But before we do, we got to move on to our outro, which means thanking our YouTube members and Patreon subscribers. So let's do that. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.